First tonight, a new response team is in the works to help law enforcement.
All of this taking place in Dayton. Abby Forbes spoke with officials about what this means for the city. So, Abby, how did that response team actually come to be?
Yeah, on Wednesday, the city commissioners approved the grant application dedicating nearly $1.5 million toward creating the Crisis Response Unit. I'm told this money will be used to replicate the organization of their Mediation Response Unit that was put in place in 2022.
We'll have one coordinator and 6 responders, and so 3 of those 6 will be licensed clinicians, and we'll have 2 teams that can go out into the community to cover all the mental health calls for service that we can handle.
So, Abby, how will this response team actually differ from the one that's already in place, though?
Yeah, the Mediation Response Unit, which is already in place, focuses on conflict situations. I'm told the Crisis Response Unit will focus on mental health situations. Back to you.
Abby, thanks. All right, so let's talk weather because it is the weekend, of course, but it's also time for another round of storms. We've got some big ones coming down here, it looks like.
Right. Thunderstorms possible looking into this evening, and we do have a low and severe risk with these as they make their way through. So we'll want to stay weather aware as we head overnight. Here's a look at what's going on currently. So we're all quiet for the Miami Valley at least, but just off to our north, you can see north of Lima, there is a severe thunderstorm warning there. Just north of Mercer County, got a pretty strong thunderstorm as well. These could be pushing their way southeastward eventually into our area, which will bring the risk for some damaging wind gusts. And then further to our northwest, very active weather making its way through Illinois right now. There are several severe thunderstorm warnings. There have been tornado warned storms with this complex of thunderstorms traveling its way southeastward. So this will eventually impact our area. But by the time it makes it here, it's likely going to be a much weaker system. So that's good news. But that being said, we still could see some storms that could produce damaging wind gusts through the overnight hours. So you'll want to stay weather aware overnight, have a way to get those weather alerts. We're going to be keeping you posted as the night goes on with that threat for some stronger storms. Other than that, it is very warm, very muggy. We're sitting at 80 in Dayton, 78 in Troy. Just a warm, muggy evening. Dew points are in the 70s too. But again, we're tracking those storms. I'll time them all out for you coming up.
Natalie, thank you. Well, today a new medical marijuana dispensary opened in Dayton, but it could soon include recreational. That's due to petitioners working to get the issue on the November ballot. Elena Brown spoke with those hoping to make it happen.
This has been a push here in Ohio for years now. The Coalition to Regulate Marijuana, like alcohol, has tried this several times to get voters, but have come up short. But I am told that this year is different. They are on the brink of making it happen. They turned over 200,000 signatures to the Secretary of State's office on July 5th, but they need 679 more, something they believe they'll be able to accomplish. And if approved, this could generate a lot of money for Ohio.
Third-party estimates of our proposal are that an adult use market, as we put forward, would generate hundreds of millions of dollars every year in new tax revenue to the state.
Now, if the measure makes it to the November ballot and is approved, some medical dispensaries could become recreational as well. I'm told this could potentially happen by the fall of 2024. Back to you.
Elena, thanks. Well, for the first time, we are seeing the officer's point of view from a deadly June shooting that shut down Linden Avenue for hours. This is video from that scene, and in it, you can hear officers give directions before approaching the building where the shooting took place. Now, eventually, police arrested one man inside before arresting another suspect in Centerville. This all happened June 17th. Dayton police responded to an active shooter call near the Davis-Linden building following a fight. Once inside, police found 45-year-old Randy Allen dead. We're still working to learn where police are at in that investigation and if anyone will be charged. We'll keep you updated as soon as we get any new information.
The Butler County Sheriff's Office says they found 30 dogs in freezers at a Madison Township dog rescue. And additionally, investigators rescued 90 dogs that were still alive but living in, quote, the most horrible conditions that deputy wardens had ever seen. Now, we do want to warn you, you may find some of these pictures disturbing. Remains were found in 5 different refrigerators and freezers, some of which weren't working. Both adult dogs and puppies were found in varying stages of decomposition. The owner of the dog rescue, Rhoda Murphy, is facing dozens of charges of neglect and cruelty to animals. The dogs that were saved are now being taken care of at the Animal Friends Humane Society of Butler County.
More mosquitoes testing positive for West Nile virus in the Miami Valley, this time in Greene County. This is the map here showing where this is happening. Greene County Public Health say they're reporting positive samples in the Ryder Court area in Bellbrook and Edith Marie Drive area in Beaver Creek. If the weather cooperates, those areas will be sprayed and treated this coming Monday. Health officials say they'll continue to trap and test mosquitoes until October. Now, there are several steps you can take to avoid mosquitoes. First and foremost, get rid of any pools of water near your home. That means draining any unused pools, bird baths, and buckets. Now, avoid areas where mosquitoes could be. Limit your time outside in the evening. And if you are outside, wear light colored clothing, long sleeve shirts and pants. And lastly, just go to the store, buy some repellent if you're planning to stay outdoors.
And in just weeks before the first day of school, Oakwood schools are having a scheduled water treatment done on the junior high and high school buildings. This after the district announced a positive Legionella test. According to the district, water limitations will stay in place until the district receives negative test results. Oakwood schools are still waiting test results from Lane Stadium and Harmon Elementary School.
Celtic Fest kicked off in downtown Dayton. Tej Joshi checked it out earlier today. Shows us day one of the festivities.
There is some huge Celtic energy in Dayton this weekend. It is the Dayton Celtic Fest. Of course, some of the events happen today, and the big bulk of it is happening tomorrow. So lots of Celtic music, food, and drink. Let me explain. Right now we are in Riverscape Metro Park. This is just part of where Celtic Fest is happening in downtown Dayton. There are multiple stages, multiple vendors, all doing lots of music, drinks, and food. The main stage is the one right underneath the Riverscape Metro Park Pavilion. That's where actually right now, as I'm standing here, the band that's playing is actually from Ireland. They came here to play, but there's lots of bands, locals, and from around the whole world playing all kinds of Celtic music today and tomorrow. Plus, there's going to be beer, people wearing their green, people wearing their kilts. Just lots of ways to have fun. One thing I want to make sure everybody knows is parking is a little bit tough in downtown this weekend with some roads closed and parking kind of shut down in some areas. There is a shuttle bringing people from Dublin Pub in the Oregon District to here. So if you're interested in attending, that's everything you need to know. Of course, you can find out more information on the website. This is a partnership with the Metro Parks team. Of course, back to you guys in the studio.
And if you're going to the festival, it's important to remember that several streets are going to be blocked off while it is taking place this weekend. Patterson Boulevard, Monument Avenue, and St. Clair Street will all be closed. The Main Street parking garage and the Water Street parking garage will be open. And if you're going to Celtic Festival, we'd love to see your photos and videos. You can send them in to us through Chime In. That's on our Dayton 24/7 Now app, and we'll share them live here on air and online. A would-be bank robber here in Ohio in the can in more ways than one. So this is 27-year-old Tristan Heidel, who's now facing charges of breaking and entering, possession of criminal tools, and safe cracking after he was trying to get away from police in a not so smart way. So this was the scene when officers responded to an alarm at the Vacation Land Federal Credit Union in Huron early yesterday. They heard noises coming from the roof, and as you can see, moments later the suspect dropped from the roof straight into a blue recycling can. Heidel was quickly arrested while still in that can. He's now being held in the Erie County Jail on a $50,000 bond.
Tonight, the search is on for 4 missing cows in Springboro. In fact, police are taking to Facebook, which is here behind me, to warn everyone to be on the lookout. In total, 7 went missing this morning. 3 are safe at home tonight. At this point, police aren't sure if the 4 still missing cows are still within city limits, so they're asking you be on the lookout in the areas of Clear Creek, Franklin, Pennyroyal, and Austin Boulevard. If you see any of the missing cows, you're asked to call Springboro Police's non-emergency number at 937-748-0611. An Ohio police chief now facing charges tonight after investigators say he attacked a homeless man in Florida. Lydia Bice back at the Now Desk tonight. So Lydia, where exactly did this happen?
Well, according to jail records, Key West officers arrested Chad McArdle on a misdemeanor battery charge on Friday. Police say a taxi driver called 911 and reported McArdle was banging on his door and claiming he had been stabbed in the face and chest. Police say he had no stab wounds. They checked surveillance video, and the officers report seeing McArdle kick a homeless man several times in the back of an alley.
Now, do police believe there was a motive behind all of this?
Authorities believe there was no reason for the attack. McArdle leads the police force in Boston Heights, Ohio, and the Boston Heights Police Department has not commented on his arrest. Back to you.
Lydia, thanks. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell releasing a statement saying he intends to serve the rest of the 118th Congress as the GOP leader. Questions continue to swirl about the Kentucky Republican's health. The 81-year-old suffered a concussion earlier this year and then froze in the middle of a news conference Wednesday. The statement doesn't address his plans for the next Congress, but Senate Republicans are taking him at his word that he's fine.
Well, he said he's fine. I take him at face value. You heard him respond to questions yesterday. He was very crisp in his answers.
Obviously, what happened was disturbing. Everyone who watched that was concerned. But listen, Mitch is strong. He's stubborn as a mule.
Now, McConnell hasn't explained why he froze up and briefly left the news conference, but an aide said he felt lightheaded.
Former President Donald Trump now facing 3 new charges tonight to his classified documents case. Trump is accused of trying to delete security footage in an effort to obstruct the special counsel's probe. Prosecutors have also added Mar-a-Lago property manager as a new defendant in the case. He's due in court in Florida on Monday. Trump denies any wrongdoing, calling the charges politically motivated. The case is scheduled to go to trial in May.
Heat still affecting several states across the U.S. as we head into the weekend. The latest on how high the temperatures are creating issues across the country.
And a woman at the center of a kidnapping hoax now facing new charges. What she's facing and how police are responding.
Plus, thunderstorms will be with us overnight. I'll track that severe weather risk coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Today was one of the hottest days in the Northeast and in places like Arizona where they're rewriting the record books with weeks of blistering heat.
Yeah, morgues at one medical examiner's office have actually been pushed to their limits. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Mobile morgues have been brought in by the Maricopa County Medical Examiner as they're pushed past capacity. They're preparing for the worst-case scenario as they near a full month of enduring record-shattering temperatures. The extra storage for bodies. A grim reminder for people in the Phoenix area of just how deadly the extreme heat has been. It's so hot, roasting temperatures are even killing cactuses.
They literally can't function, and the way I describe it is they start to suffocate.
Dueling disasters striking the state Thursday. A strong storm has ripped roofs off buildings in Mesa, knocking out power to hundreds in Phoenix.
There was transformers exploding in the streets.
This as high heat puts places in the Northeast and Midwest on high alert.
What do you guys got?
One down.
One down?
We get a lot more unconscious calls that are usually someone that hasn't been staying hydrated.
On top of sweltering heat, poor air quality is posing a threat to people spending time outside.
Recovering when I get home, staying in the air conditioning, not going out too much during the day, especially with the way the ozone, action days, and the smoke problems we've had over the last month. It's been pretty tough.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Well, quiet right now in the Miami Valley, but we will be tracking the potential for some stronger storms overnight. We have some storms off to our north that we'll be watching as we head into these next couple of hours or so, posing very little severe risk with those, but it's really what's off to our northwest that we will be tracking very closely. Here's a look in Illinois, heading into the Chicago area, line of severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings moving through Wisconsin right now. So this complex of storms is expected to travel southeastward into our region. But the good news is that it will be weakening as it does make its way in. This is indicating some storms around potentially 1 a.m. or so. We'll monitor for a stronger to severe storm, but our main line does look to enter after 3 a.m. and before sunrise. We will be looking for the risk for some damaging wind gusts with this. And then also with some heavy rain, localized flooding could be a concern too. So we'll watch for this as we head through the evening, but that does move out fairly early tomorrow morning, and then the rest of tomorrow afternoon looking to be just hot again with highs mid upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. And also it stays humid, but we do have some cooler air that will eventually be making its way in with the cold front. So I'll time that all out for you coming up here in just a bit.
The community in Louisville emotional tonight as the officer critically injured in that mass shooting 3 months ago is finally home.
I will never forget. Our Louisville team will never forget. Our entire organization will never forget. Officer Wilt is a hero in every sense of the word.
I just want to say to Officer Wilt, the whole city is behind you. We are here to support you and your family in any way we can, and we are here for you.
26-year-old Nicholas Wilt was a rookie officer. He was shot in the head and suffered a brain injury while responding to an active shooter at a bank. His doctors called his recovery, quote, remarkable, and his long-term prognosis very good. Wilt can now speak, swallow, stand, and walk. The suspected gunman, a bank employee, was killed by officers after fatally shooting 5 people.
Carly Russell, the woman who admitted to making up a kidnapping hoax in Alabama, is now facing charges. Hoover City Police say Russell is out on bond after turning herself in. She was charged with falsely reporting to law enforcement authorities and falsely reporting an incident. Now, each Class A misdemeanor carries a year in prison and a $6,000 fine.
Her decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city and even across the nation, as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait.
Now, because of the attention the case garnered, it was handed over to the Attorney General's office. The office said they are putting a team together to fully prosecute the case.
Right, Patterson Air Force Base holding its Operation Kudos event today. Now, Kudos stands for Kids Understanding Deployment Operations, helping kids learn what happens when their parents are deployed. 80 children ages 4 to 13 were able to prepare for military missions through fun simulations and discussions. One service member and parent told us what participating in this event means to her.
Just being able to give them this insight on what we sometimes have to do in the military has give them better understanding of what might happen if I weren't here and what I might have to be doing out on the deployed field.
Kids also got to see a fire simulation, canine demonstration, and play on obstacle courses and airplanes.
Live look over downtown Troy tonight. Another warm one, and we got some storms rolling in. Let's check in with Natalie.
It is sticky out here on our Watson's weather patio. Certainly a muggy evening, and it has been very muggy during the day today, and that's going to continue to be the case tomorrow. But relief is on the way. Heading into next week, there you see our high temperatures back into the lower 80s. That's also with some lower humidity that will be heading its way in, so it will feel pretty refreshing by next week. And overall temperature trend looking below normal for this time of the year as we head into the longer term. So heading well into August, looks like we could be dealing with some more below normal temperatures. So I'll have more on that. A look at our 7-day and the threat for some thunderstorms across the area overnight coming up.
Natalie, thanks. Our annual Stuff the Bus school supply drive has been another big success. We once again partnered with Cran's Classrooms to help provide school supplies for kids going back to school. Now, the donations are then distributed to teachers across the Miami Valley for free. The organization's executive director explained their purpose and mission.
We exist strictly for that purpose. We're very focused on our mission. It's very simple, but yet complicated, and it's providing these supplies to teachers of students in need.
So we had a school bus in our parking lot all week long in Miamisburg for you to drop off your donations. Stuff the Bus is sponsored by Raising Cane's. And if you weren't able to make it out this week, don't worry about it. Cran's Classroom's always accepting donations of time, money, and supplies. Be sure to tune in next week, too. We'll have another supply drive happening, and we'll tell you where you can go on Monday.
Nearly half of families in our communities are struggling to provide clean diapers for their babies, and there is a way you can help. ABC 22, Fox 45, along with our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, we're partnering with the National Diaper Bank Network right now through August 6th. Just scan the QR code you see there on your screen to provide diapers for those in need here in the Miami Valley. Your donation makes a difference. Join us Saturday for a special town hall as we help create awareness, provide assistance, and build a community to reduce diaper need nationwide. That's Saturday, July 29th at 5:30 right here on ABC 22.
Cincinnati's head coach giving an update after Joe Burrow went down during training camp. Ahead, when the star quarterback is expected to return and who's taking snaps while he's out.
And the basketball tournament continues at UD Arena. Coming up, what it took for Ohio State's alumni team to move on to the next round.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good evening, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. It's been more than 24 hours since Joe Burrow's injury at Bengals training camp. On Friday, head coach Zach Taylor officially saying it was a calf strain and that Burrow will need several weeks before returning. And when asked to elaborate on specifically when Burrow could return, Taylor simply replied, several weeks is several weeks. Burrow was rolling right away from contact when he pulled up limping. Jake Browning took first team snaps on Friday. He's been with the Bengals since 2021. And Taylor saying that it's not just Burrow who has made strides this offseason before the injury, but so did the entire team on Friday.
Joe got more days this July than he's ever had in the NFL. And so I feel really good about the progress we made during those July practices with Joe. And when he's able to get back, we'll be able to get the work we need. I thought overall our team had a good day today. And you know, I just, you're careful not to give too much praise early in training camp, but day 3, it's been hot out here. I thought guys really were locked in, dialed in, had a great sense of urgency.
Well, this weekend is the Dayton Regional of the basketball tournament. UD's alumni team Red Scare was the top seed in the region, but they were upset on Wednesday. However, the Ohio State alumni team, known as Carmen's Crew, is still in the running for the $1 million winner-take-all prize. And Carmen's Crew ended up facing India Rising on Friday, the same team that beat Red Scare on Wednesday. It was a close game in the first quarter, but the OSU alumni pulling ahead in the second quarter, and they would extend that lead in the second half, going on to win 82-56. 3 players with 11 points each for Carmen's Crew. 3 more had 10, including former Buckeyes Caleb Wesson and Kyle Young. Carmen's Crew will be back at UD Arena Saturday for the regional final against a team called Friday Beers, and then whoever wins Saturday will be back in Dayton on Monday for the quarterfinals against the UC alumni team known as Nasty Natty. Major League Baseball, Cincinnati Reds just starting the first game of their weekend series at the Dodgers, but before the game they agreed to a contract extension with manager David Bell, a 3-year extension that runs through 2026. Bell has led the Reds to 307 wins since taking over in 2019, and that does include when they made the postseason appearance in the COVID-shortened season of 2020. And Reds, by the way, winning that series opener right now in Los